This chapter is a nice, short, sweet chapter. It is an elaboration of the verse Karmanne Vadikaraste Ma Phaleshu Kadachana Ma Karma Phala Hetur Bhuhu Mate Sangotsva Akarmani. When we studied that verse, I told you that is the seed, and this is now the tree, the sprout. So that verse is now going to be fully elaborated. This verse, from the standpoint of those of you who have young children, who are young, who are right now, either attending school, university, those who are in a position, what should I say, in a position or in a place where there is a lot to achieve in life still. This is very important for them, this chapter. Okay, it should not be taken lightly. Also, in this chapter, you must not, what should I say? You must not have that, oh, aham brahmasmi. This is not dealing with knowledge now. It is dealing with the practical aspect of life, because that's why, see, master Gita, master life. And in life, we have to go through life working. And how exactly is that work to be done? How exactly is that karma is to be done is what is going to be explained in this chapter. And therefore, it does become very, very important. Knowledge is important, but karma is the means. Knowledge is the goal and karma is the means. Now, if you don't have the correct means, how will you reach that goal? It's like somebody wants to become a doctor and that person is taking art subjects, literature and poetry and English and this. How he will reach medical school? So the means has to be correct. First, the goal is to be set. Then the means have to be determined. Okay. So the goal has been set. If the goal was left to us to be set, then we could choose any material goal. And that also Shruti says is fine, but the goal that is set for the whole humankind, and I say humans because this goal is not there for animals or plants, they're also living beings, but it's not. So the goal for all human beings, the ultimate goal is moksha. And this is said by Shruti, it's not I am saying it, please. And neither is Gurudev saying it, neither is Bhagavan Shankaracharya saying it. It has come from the Vedas. Shruti herself, Shruti Mata has said that for humans, the ultimate goal has to be this moksha, which has a two-pronged aspect to it. One is Paramananda Prapti and one is Atyantik Shoka Nivritti, means the gain, the attainment of supreme bliss and the cessation of all sorrows. And that is the ultimate goal for all human beings, irrespective of color, caste, creed, age. Ultimate goal. You will have goals in between. They will be there. I want to graduate. I would like to pay the mortgage off on my house. I would like my children to go to, a better school, university. All those goals are intermediate goals. There are short term, there are immediate goals. Like right after this lecture, somebody might want to go out for lunch, somebody might want to go to the temple, somebody might be expecting somebody. That is a immediate goal. Then there is a short-term goal, there is an intermediate goal, but the ultimate, and these first three goals will be different even in one family unit. If there are two children, mother, father, these short-term goals, immediate goals will be different. The children, right after this, the children might be attending Bal Vihar and the parents might be wanting to go somewhere. So those can be different. The short-term intermediate goals can be different. One child wants to become a doctor, one child wants to become an engineer. Those goals can be different. But the ultimate goal, Shruti says, has to be same for everybody, and that is moksha. And so to attain this moksha, what are the means? That also Shruti has to tell. You can't tell this is your goal. Now, don't know how to go about it. You figure it out yourself. It can't be like that. So this is why now this chapter becomes important in that respect. This is the means to reach the goal. It is not the goal. That is to be understood. Karma, yoga is not the goal. It is the means. And it begins, this third chapter begins with a question by Arjuna. And the question is triggered. And it's good that we just finished the chapter 2. In the last verse, Bhagwan indicates to him, and throughout the chapter, Bhagwan has indicated to him that knowledge is the only means for liberation. Knowledge is the direct means for liberation. And even that knowledge is so powerful that even if you get it at the last minute while you're leaving this body, that's enough. So imagine the power of knowledge. In that last 1 minute, and actually Ravana and Kamsa and all those, in the final moment only they realized, and that's it. Shishupal, everybody merged, Putana, all the people that Bhagwan killed, at the last minute, Bhagwan gave them the knowledge and they merged with Bhagwan. So if throughout the life they hated, they were jealous, they were whatever, they've tried to kill Bhagwan so many times, in spite of that, that knowledge released them. So knowledge is so very important. This part Arjun has understood. That is what is now triggering this question. The first 2 verses are a question by Arjun. So let us start with the first question. Atha Tritiyodhyayah Arjuna Vacha Jayasi Chet Karmanaste Mata Buddhir Janardana Tatkim Karmani Ghore Mam Niyojayasi Keshava. Arjun said, if it be thought by you that knowledge is superior to action, O Janardana, why then do you, O Keshava, engage me in this terrible action? So this has happened, when we are more emotional, then we'll take the name of the person twice. So first of all, what he has done is, O Janardana is also Bhagwan Shri Krishna, and Keshava also is Bhagwan Shri. So he's repeated. Now, so let's start with those words. Janardana, Jana and Ardana. So Jana Ardana, that's how the word breaks, becomes Janardana. And Jana meaning is Maya, ignorance. Ardana is to kill, to destroy. So he is referring to Bhagwan as, you are the killer of Maya. You are the one you are capable of destroying this Maya, this illusion. That is one meaning. Jana, here this meaning should be taken, but the other also, Jana means people also. So Ardana, Janardana means you are the people, world is comprised of people. So Ardana means you're the destroyer of the world, not a physical destroyer of the world, but for me, for a Sthita Prajna, this world will be, like we saw in the verse, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam, this world will be like darkness for the Sthita Prajna. Okay, that is the meaning. Keshava is one who emits light. One meaning of Keshava is one who emits light. So you are the one who is the destroyer of Maya, who is the destroyer of this world. And you have told me that knowledge is so great, right? Because even at the last minute, if you get knowledge, you will come to me. You have also told me that knowledge is the direct path. Why are you asking me to do action? Now, see, a question is asked for 2 reasons. Can be asked for 2 reasons. One is the person is confused about whatever is said, can be confused. And one is the person can object to what is being said, right? I can question. If you say something and say, oh, how do you say that? It's not like that. I can object also, but I can be confused. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Now here, Arjun is not objecting. Please understand, Arjun is not objecting Bhagwan. Arjun is confused. And the reason for his confusion is that I understand that there are 2 paths. What is the confusion? Where is he confused? He has understood that there are 2 paths. He has understood that there is a path of karma, there is a path of knowledge. The path of knowledge is direct, will take me directly to Bhagwan. And path of karma is the indirect path. Knowledge is direct, Karma is indirect. Now you are asking, I am a very intelligent person. He was a very, so why can't I go by the direct path? Why do I have to do? Because Bhagavan told him, your adhikara is on karma only. Karamanneva adhikaraste, Bhagavan told him. You have right on action alone. So why are you telling me? And okay, this action that you're telling me, it is nothing conducive to moksha. Like if you tell me, oh, do puja of the Lord, make some garlands for the Lord, do japa, do meditation. If you tell me something like that, then I can understand, I'm praying to the Lord and now I'm to reach the Lord. Lord is the goal. I can understand that. But you're telling, ghore, see the word he's using is ghore. Ghore means terrible, means you're actually asking me to kill my guru and my grandfather. I'm confused. Why? Why should I do? Because see, he didn't want to kill them. So he says, I won't kill them. I'll just go for the direct path. Nah. That is his confusion. That I understand there are two paths. Why should I do this? Why can't I go direct? All right. Now, and he's saying, I'm willing to give up everything and I will follow the path of jnana, follow the path of knowledge. Now, sometimes what happens is we ask a question and then we kind of wonder, did the one who is listening, he may not have understood my question very clearly. So we repeat the question, and that's what Arjun is now doing. So in the second verse, he's repeating his question. Vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vada nishchitya yena shreyoham apnuyam. With this apparently perplexing speech, you confuse, as it were, my understanding. Therefore, tell me that one way for certain by which I may attain the highest. Gurudev's explanation for this one way is Arjun is a military man. He is even in chapter 2, if you remember, he said, tell me one thing which is, which I should follow. Don't tell me this, that, and the other things. So because he's a military man, and I've told you this before, in the army, orders are not given, okay, you may go in this direction, or if you want, you can go in that direction also, but try and do this. It's not like that. Army, if anybody has any kind of army background, the instructions are always, you will go here, you will do this, and this is what you have to achieve. And once you've achieved that, you don't go any further. You don't use your own brains and say, okay, now I've got this one, now let me go fight with somewhere else. You don't. So there are very, very clear-cut, single-pointed instructions given in the army. And Arjun is an army man. So he doesn't understand that there are these two paths. One is direct. I am very intelligent. I am even willing to go for that path. And you are now asking me to do this terrible action. Why? What Arjun is not understanding here is that for jnana, there is a certain type of qualification that is required. Just like I mentioned earlier, if your goal is to become a doctor, your path cannot be arts and poetry and literature and all that. Your path has to be science subjects. So same way, for the knowledge of the Supreme Self, what is required is purity of mind. You can be intelligent. I've told you this before. Intelligence is in the intellect. You can be very intellectual. And he was. But if your mind is not purified enough, that knowledge which is put into the intellect will be confused. It will be confusing. And this is what Arjun is not understanding, and Bhagwan knows that. Why does Bhagwan know his mind is not fully purified? Because he has hatred for Duryodhan. He has likes and dislikes. He's like us. He's exactly better than us, but he's like in our position. So Bhagwan knows that. And therefore the teacher knows what the student is or is not qualified for. And Bhagwan knows that he is not qualified. And that's why Bhagwan is, but he doesn't understand that. And it's good. It's actually, I remember my father, he used to teach us. I mean, my mom and I, he said, I need practice. So you guys are my students. So he would be telling us. And what he told us that time, and his guru must have told him, is that it's good that Arjun got confused. Because if Arjun would have totally understood and Gita would have stopped, because he has given complete knowledge in chapter 2. So Gita is complete there. But if Arjun would have understood, we would never have understood. So so actually one interpretation is Bhagwan actually got him confused, that so that he can ask questions. That also is one interpretation, that Bhagwan wanted him confused so that he can ask, then Bhagwan can explain to him in detail so that we will learn in detail, so it's for us actually. So this is why these two questions, which are very similar. So he says, you're mohaya sivame, you're actually deluding me, you're confusing me by telling me two paths, and you're telling me to do one of them, which is if he was told, okay, you go for jnana, then he would have been very happy that I'm going for the higher path. But now he has been told to do the lower path, which he thinks is lower. It is not lower. Means can never be lower than the goal, but they are the means. They're not the destination. It's what you're qualifying. I was just thinking about this, and very, very simple example in the material world is, if I were to go from here to Calgary or Toronto, and I say, oh, how do I get there? So the direct path and the fastest path is you get on a plane and you're there in 1 hour. Or you can take the bus, which will take you 10 hours, or you can walk, which will take you God knows how many days, right? Now, if I say, oh, that's the direct path, but the question is, that's more expensive. Can you afford it? Are you qualified to take the plane? Here in the material world, it is money, which is determining it. Are you qualified to get on in the sense, are you rich enough to buy a ticket to go to Calgary on the plane, or you can only afford the bus? So that's where the qualification comes, money. Here, money is not involved. Here, the qualification is how purified is your mind. If your mind is not purified enough, there is no point in going for path of jnana. Don't. Start with karma. That is what is being said. We'll read the next verse. Loke Shri Bhagavan Vacha Lokesmin Dvividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Mayanagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. The Blessed Lord said, in this world, there is a twofold path. As I said before, O sinless one, the path of knowledge of the Sankhyas and the path of action of the yogis. So I'll just take the word meaning, and we'll go into details next time. So Sri Bhagavan Vacha, I have explained Bhagavan, the meaning of Bhagavan to you many times. So the one thing that you may not remember are the details, but the one thing that you should remember is that if it is Bhagavan, said by Bhagavan, the words were true at the time when they were said. They are true today, and they will remain true 5,000 years, 10,000, 100,000 years after this. They will remain true. That is the main import of that word Bhagavan. That is not Shri Krishna Vacha, Govinda Vacha, Govardhan Vacha. There are so many names of Bhagavan. Janardana Vacha, Keshava Vacha. It's not like that. That's why it is said Bhagavan. Okay, that the words are true in all periods of time. That's number one. It says that Lokesmin Vividha Nishtha, Pura, very old, very, very long time ago, since long time ago, I have always said that in this world, Lokesmin, in this world, there are always two paths. There are two. Nishtha comes from stha dhatu. Nishtha means, stha is to stay. We saw that word Ashwatha. That which does not stay, that the stha means staying. So nishtha also comes from that root stha, means you stay fixed. Nishtha means your dedication, your faith. Where you are, they say he's a man of principle. So his nishtha is in that principle. Like somebody would only speak the truth, so, or like if you take example of Mahatma, his nishtha was in the country, that my country should become free. So he's well established in that thought. That's what nishtha. So what he's saying is there are these two paths which I have always mentioned from way before. One is the path of knowledge for the Sankhyans. Sankhyans here is not the there is a Sankhya school of philosophy, okay, logic. That is not. Sankhya comes from the word Sankhya, and Sankhya means numeral, number. 1, 2, 3, 4, these numbers. Sankhya is a Marathi word also. Sankhya is a Hindi word also. And Sankhya is Sanskrit also. And from Sankhya comes Sankhya, means those who are very intellectually oriented, those who are very logically oriented, those who are constantly asking why. Why do you say that? Why? So there are certain people who are intellectually oriented. They are like that. So for those, the path of knowledge is prescribed. This is what Bhagavan is saying. For those people who are intellectually inclined, they're not inclined towards too much, what should I do next? What should I do next? They're not. And then for the other, Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam, Karma Yogena Yoginam. So here yogi does not mean Hatha Yogi. Yogi means the one who has a to-do list in modern language. You know, people have a to-do list. Like, what will I do next? What will I do next? So there are these type of people are there. The one who are carrying a to-do list in the purse constantly. So for those type of people, Karma Marga is prescribed. For those who are intellectual, who are like, for them, the path of knowledge is mentioned. So this is the general meaning of this verse, but we will take up this verse again next week. Okay. Any questions so far? And the word anagha is used here, so we will look into that as well. All right. Okay. So we will continue with this next time.